The story kicks off at a trendy poolside nightclub, where a party buzzes around the tall, glamorous birthday girl, Ha-ri. She calls her friend, frustrated that she hasn't arrived yet. On the other end, her friend is stuck at work, bartending, though she lies about being on her way. This frizzy-haired, flushed friend is serving popcorn to a table of men who openly prefer the prettier waitress. Instead of taking offense, she laughs it off. This is the ever-resilient Hye-jin. Just after finishing work, Hye-jin hurries to the party. Their wealthy men are competing for Ha-ri's attention with expensive gifts. Ha-ri barely hides her boredom but lights up when Hye-jin arrives. She squeals and pulls her close, calling her wifey. One of the men questions how Ha-ri could have that kind of friend. Her stiletto lands on his foot before he can regret his words. She shoves his expensive necklace back at him and tells him to leave. Ha-ri wants to ditch the party for dinner with Hye-jin, but Hye-jin insists she stay. Left alone, Hye-jin eats while checking a text about her upcoming student loan payment. She glances at the carefree crowd. A brief wave of longing hits, but she quickly shakes it off. Ha-ri stumbles in her heels and falls into the pool. Men rush to rescue her. Hye-jin moves to help, but gets pushed in instead. Unlike Ha-ri, nobody comes to save her. And as she sinks, a thought crosses her mind. Protagonists don't just exist in movies and dramas. Her feet touch the bottom. Her eyes snap open. She pushes herself back to the surface. And as she surfaces, a thought lingers. Just like popped corn is pushed aside for the main order, some people are meant for the spotlight while others fade into the background. If that's the case, she isn't the heroine, just friend 3. Maybe even an unnoticed extra. All attention stays on Ha-ri. Hye-jin drags herself home, soaked and dejected. By morning, it's clear they're also roommates. Ha-ri wakes in a soft glow of sunlight and nibbles on an apple. Hye-jin jolts awake and devours a full meal, bracing herself for an important job interview. Her life revolves around job hunting, every ounce of energy focused on landing a full-time position. At the office, she steps into an elevator, only for the weight capacity alarm to go off. Another woman had entered after her, but she's prettier, so Hye-jin gets pressured into stepping out. Just as the doors close, they suddenly reopen. The pretty woman is asked to leave instead, making space for Hye-jin. Who made that call? No reveal yet? Fine. Keep the mystery. The interview is for an intern position at a magazine. Hye-jin's average credentials earn unimpressed looks from the more qualified candidates. As if the day isn't bad enough, she steps outside and gets smacked by flying trash. A sudden downpour follows, drenching her completely. Back in her neighborhood, Hye-jin spots Ha-ri making out in a convertible. She scolds her for the public display, especially with a guy she isn't even sure about yet. She asks if Ha-ri has ever truly loved any of her boyfriends. Ha-ri asks what true love even is. That's the answer right there. Hye-jin gets dreamy, talking about romance and grand feelings. Ha-ri dismisses it, saying she just dates whoever interests her for as long as she feels like it. To her, all men are the same, so there's no point overthinking it. She advises Hye-jin to drop her outdated ideals and start dating. Hye-jin argues that nobody wants her anyway, not that she has time for romance. A surprise email from Ji Sung-jun brightens her mood. He asks about her life and ends with a request to meet when he arrives in Korea. Back in 5th grade, Ha-ri had moved to Japan with her family. During that time, a new family moved into her house. Among them was a chubby boy named Seong-jun. He and Hye-jin became friends, and he was her first love. Excited, Hye-jin goes to meet Seong-jun, expecting the same chubby boy from childhood. But when she sees him, she freezes. He's no longer fat or awkward. He's grown into a handsome man. Unable to face him, she hides and leaves. On the way home, she tells Ha-ri what happened. Ha-ri encourages her to meet him, even if she isn't the beautiful girl he remembers. Instead, Hye-jin comes up with a plan. She asks Ha-ri to meet Seong-jun in her place. Ha-ri agrees and pretends to be Hye-jin. Hye-jin sits nearby, feeding her answers. When Ha-ri accidentally asks about his mother, who passed away, Hye-jin panics and signals her. Watching Seong-jun speak, she becomes more convinced that avoiding him was the right choice. After dinner, Ha-ri tells him she's moving to England for school, making it impossible for them to meet again. As a farewell gift, Seong-jun gives the girl he believes is Hye-jin an umbrella. Years ago, during a school trip, he had once been scared and begged the bus driver to let him out. Hye-jin approached and comforted him. She promised to stay by his side as his umbrella. On the day he left for the States, Seong-jun gave her a piece of his puzzle, promising they would meet again. Before leaving, he kissed her. The change Hye-jin waits for finally happens. She secures an internship at a large company. Excitement fills her as she heads to work. Near the building, she collides with a man and falls. Kim Shin-hyuk, the man she bumps into, drops his gum at the same moment, and as she scrambles to stand, her eyes land on the gum. Mistaking it for her front tooth, she panics. After realizing her error, she rushes inside, feeling relieved. Shin Hyuk watches her go. Amusement crosses his face as he takes in her outfit. She reminds him of Michael Jackson. Right in the middle of the street, he bursts into a Billie Jean dance. At work, Hye-jin remains diligent. She completes every task without complaint. One evening, before heading home, her department assigns her a delivery to the most editing department. Later, as soon as she steps in, the employees look at her with confusion. They mistake her for the new freelancer. Without hesitation, they hand her tasks. She tackles everything effortlessly. Later, the actual freelancer arrives, revealing the mistake. Her efficiency impresses the team. They request her transfer, eager to have her on board. On her first day in the new department, she meets the chief editor, Ji Seong-jun. Hye-jin remains confused about her sudden transfer to the editing department. Before she can process it, another shock follows. Her new boss is none other than Ji Seong-jun. He has returned, searching for something he once lost. The moment she sees him, she throws herself under a desk. Panic takes over. Without thinking, she bolts from the office, struggling to clear her thoughts. Fear grips her. He might recognize her name. Desperate, she contacts Hari. Hari reassures her. Seong-jun still believes his first love is Hari. He assumes the real Hye-jin is in England. Besides, Kim Hye-jin is a common name. Despite this, panic refuses to subside. She rushes to her old department. Grabbing her former boss's pants, she begs him to cancel the transfer. He refuses. If she does not want the job, her only option is to resign. Shin Hyuk spots her loitering outside the office. Suspicion rises, but amusement follows. He congratulates her on joining the team, adding his usual over-the-top humor. She sees an opportunity. Pleading, she asks him to undo her transfer. He cannot help. Later, she turns to the fashion director, Cha Ju-young, but finds no solution there either. Seong-jun exits his office to speak with the fashion director. Hye-jin reacts instantly. She dives under a desk again. The moment he turns away, she makes a run for the restroom. Calm returns after a few minutes. She decides to go back to her office, and just as she rounds a corner, her heart drops. Seong-jun appears in front of her. Instinct takes over. She spins around and dashes toward the elevator. The doors close behind her. A sigh of relief follows. It lasts only a second. Realization hits. Seong-jun stands right next to her. She scrambles to escape, but before she can react, the elevator stops. Desperate to escape, Hye-jin screams and kicks the door, hoping someone will get them out. Seong-jun stops her and calls for help. With only the two of them inside, she struggles to breathe. Then the lights go out. She collapses, gasping. Assuming she's claustrophobic, Seong-jun puts an earphone in her ear. He plays the same song Hye-jin once let him hear when he was scared as a child. Back at the office, she barely has time to recover before being sent to a photo shoot. The fashion director makes her carry a heavy box. Once there, both Seong-jun and Kim Ra-ra scold her. Seong-jun snaps at her for stepping onto the set with her shoes on. Ra-ra criticizes her appearance, saying she doesn't look polished enough to work for most editing. Rain starts pouring, and Seong-jun remembers how much Hye-jin hates it. Her hair always turns into a curly mess. He sends her an email. Panic sets in. If he keeps contacting her, he might figure out the truth. Fear creeps in at the thought of him seeing what she has become. Sensing her distress, Hari sends him a reply with her picture in England to keep up the lie. That night, Hye-jin dreams of Seong-jun discovering the truth and mocking her. The next morning, she writes her resignation letter. Before entering the office, she runs into Shin Hyuk. As always, he scares her. Seong-jun calls a meeting and Hye-jin attends with everyone else. He gives them 3 minutes to pitch ideas for the next issue of Most magazine. None of them impress him. His eyes land on Hye-jin. He demands an idea from her too. She freezes, unable to find her words. Frustrated, he insults and humiliates her in front of the entire team. The fashion editor tries to explain that she's just helping temporarily, but Seong-jun doesn't care. Since she has nothing useful to contribute, he kicks her out, saying she's polluting their oxygen. Later, while picking up a package, she bumps into him again. He is just as rude. Fed up, she follows him, determined to stand up for herself. But when the moment comes, she can't say anything. Instead, she finally understands why he hates her. Seong-jun resents her because he believes an incompetent, unattractive woman like her doesn't deserve the name Kim Hye-jin. He wants her gone. Anger flares inside her. This isn't the sweet, innocent boy she once knew. Her mind shifts. She no longer wants to resign. The team, once impressed by Seong-jun, starts to dislike him after witnessing his true personality. Unfortunately for Hye-jin, he walks in just as she's bad-mouthing him. Seong-jun meets someone at a hotel near his office. On his way out, he spots Hari and stops in shock. He thought she was in London. Thinking quickly, Hari lies. She tells him she had just arrived when she got a job offer from the hotel and came back. He believes her. After he leaves, Hari panics and calls Hye-jin for an emergency meeting. Hye-jin doesn't answer, so Shin Hyuk picks up instead. At home, Hye-jin vents to Hari about her day. She rants about how horribly Seong-joon treated her and declares she never wants to hear his name again. She refuses to let him push her out and firmly decides she will not quit her job. Meanwhile, Seong-joon starts his morning routine. At a restaurant, he zones out and doesn't hear the waiter calling him. When his coffee arrives, he absent-mindedly sips water from a flower pot instead. As he leaves, he walks straight into the door. At a crosswalk, he hears someone say, "Go" instead of "green light," a habit Hye-jin had as a child. But since he still believes Ha-ri is the real Hye-jin, he doesn't even glance at her. Instead, he calls Ha-ri, who invites him out, saying she has something important to tell him. At work, another meeting begins. This time, Hye-jin refuses to hide. She's determined to prove herself. But the moment Seong-joon speaks to her, nerves take over. She starts panicking and making mistakes again. Hye-jin delivers the meeting minutes to Seong-joon, but struggles with the terminology. Frustrated, he scolds and insults her again. Later, he catches her making another mistake. She doesn't recognize the cosmetic brand she's sorting or the clothes the fashion director requested. Yet, when he isn't watching, she handles everything flawlessly. Tired of being called incompetent, Hye-jin starts studying fashion magazines. Ha-ri helps her. With enough effort, she memorizes everything she needs. At the next meeting, she writes the minutes properly, finally understanding the conversation instead of feeling lost. Shin-hyuk wants to eat, and Hye-jin has to pay. He convinces her to go out after work, using his usual charm. Shin-hyuk teases Hye-jin, acting as if she wouldn't survive without him. That evening, she joins him for dinner. Focused on their meal, she misses Ha-ri's calls. Ha-ri had just fought with her father after a tense dinner with him and her stepmother. During the argument, her father slapped her. Upset, she drinks at a bar where a man harasses her. Seong-joon steps in and defends her. Seeing she's hurt, he takes her to the hospital. Later, he buys her medicine and takes her home. The next day, while picking up coffee at a restaurant, Seong-joon meets Hye-jin's younger sister, Kim Hye-rin. She looks exactly like Hye-jin did at that age. Seong-joon is buying his morning coffee when he meets Kim Hye-rin. She looks exactly like Hye-jin did at her age. Hye-jin spots them together and panics, afraid Hye-rin might say something that exposes the lie she and Ha-ri told him. Thinking fast, she calls Seong-joon and lies, saying Ra-ra is looking for him. As soon as he leaves, she sends Hye-rin away. Back at the office, she admits her mistake and tells Seong-joon no one was actually looking for him. During the morning meeting, he rejects every idea and orders the team to start over. Before that, he makes sure to scold everyone. The employees grow frustrated, and Hye-jin wonders what happened to him in America to make him this way. Later, he sits in his car, staring at the sky. He takes a picture and sends it to Ha-ri. At the same time, Hye-jin notices the sky from the office hallway and takes out her phone. Before she can take a picture, Shin-hyuk appears, interrupting her. That night, she tells Ha-ri about the close call with Hye-rin, worried that Seong-joon might uncover the truth. Ha-ri seems even more anxious, possibly because her feelings for him are changing. She tries to say something about him, but Hye-jin refuses to listen. She has no interest in discussing someone who constantly looks down on her. Back home, she remembers Ra-ra's reminders to look more polished and stylish. Determined to improve, she experiments with a new hairstyle and makeup. Hye-jin arrives at work with a new hairstyle and makeup, hoping to look more polished. Instead, she looks worse than before, almost clownish. The moment Seong-joon sees her, he visibly flinches. Someone needs to drive Seong-joon to the airport, but no one wants to spend that much time with him. Shin-hyuk tricks Hye-jin into volunteering. The car ride is tense. She tries to make conversation, but Seong-joon is only interested in his documents. At one point, she asks which airport he needs to go to. He doesn't respond, so she assumes Incheon. Halfway there, he finally looks up and yells, realizing she's driving him to the wrong place. He was supposed to be at Gimpo. Stuck in traffic, she pays a street food vendor to take him there on his motorcycle. Later, when she arrives to pick him up, she learns the meeting went well, and the client accepted his proposal. Still, Seong-joon is furious. Right in the middle of the road, he lashes out at her. For the first time, she doesn't stay silent. She fights back, standing up for herself. If anyone is to blame for the mix-up, it's him. She had asked multiple times, but he ignored her. In the end, she has to find her own way back to the office. As Hye-jin and Seong-joon leave the office, rain pours outside. She opens her umbrella, catching his attention. It looks just like the one he gave Kim Hye-jin before she supposedly left for London. Frustrated after a rough day, Hye-jin drinks alone. Shin-hyuk spots her and stays with her until she gets drunk. Meanwhile, Seong-joon meets Ha-ri, who is also struggling. Seeing her cry, he takes her to the park, where they play badminton and talk. Before parting, she wants to tell him she has a fiancé and can't see him anymore but holds back. Drunk and emotional, Hye-jin calls Seong-joon and blurts out her real name. Before she reveals too much, Shin-hyuk grabs her phone and ends the call. He takes her home safely. The next morning, she sees the call log but can't remember what she said. She asks Shin-hyuk, who finally tells her after she buys him breakfast. Relieved she didn't expose herself, she feels at ease. At the office, she tries to apologize for the drunken call, expecting him to lash out. Instead, He remains calm and says he will pretend it never happened. His attitude shocks her. Earlier that morning, while getting his coffee, the waiter mentioned how he tunes out everything when focused. The comment triggers a memory of what Hye-jin told him at the airport. Regret settles in, making him realize he was wrong for insulting her. The company holds a mandatory dinner and everyone attends. Seong-jun, not much of a drinker, leaves after one glass. On his way out, he suddenly collapses. Shin-hyuk and Hye-jin see him and take him home. After leaving his hotel room, Hye-jin realizes she made a mistake with Shin-hyuk and wants to apologize. Before she can, she remembers forgetting her phone in Seong-jun's room. She returns to retrieve it and notices a familiar puzzle, the one she and Seong-jun used to work on as children. As she stares at it, he wakes up. Shocked, she accidentally knocks over the glass containing the puzzle. Shards scatter across the floor. Just as she nearly cuts herself, Seong-jun grabs her arm and pulls her away. Hye-jin forgets her phone inside Seong-jun's hotel room. Remembering he always used the same password as a child, his favorite day, the International Left-Handers Day, she tries it on the door lock. It works. She enters, finds her phone, and is about to leave when Seong-jun wakes up. Startled, she knocks over the glass containing his cherished puzzle. Rushing out, she mistakenly grabs one of his shoes instead of her own. Later, Hari and Hye-jin visit Hye-jin's parents for a meal. Afterward, Han Seol calls Hye-jin, claiming she's too busy to send important emails. In reality, she is getting a manicure. Hye-jin agrees to help. After sending the emails, she notices the light on in Seong-jun's office. Assuming he left it on, she steps inside. Seeing a mannequin, she absent-mindedly plays with it until she accidentally breaks its hand. Just then, Seong-jun's voice echoes through the room. She hides in the closet. Inside, she overhears his phone call, learning that Most magazine might shut down in 3 months. Before she can process it, Seong-jun finds her and warns her not to tell anyone. Later at the gym, Seong-jun runs into Hari. After their workout, she takes him home. The next workday, Hye-jin realizes she lost the puzzle piece Seong-jun gave her as a child. Determined to get it back, she spends the day searching. Just as she reaches for it, a coworker accidentally pushes it into Seong-jun's office. While he talks on the phone, the piece sticks to his shoe. Finding an excuse to enter, Hye-jin drops a pen near his foot, hoping to grab the puzzle piece. Every time she reaches for it, he moves his leg. Seong-jun leaves the office just as the puzzle piece falls loose. Before he can notice it, Shin-hyuk suddenly hugs him, catching him off guard. While doing so, he discreetly picks up the puzzle piece and hides it under his shoe. After work, Shin-hyuk meets Hye-jin and returns it. The night she got drunk, he overheard her mentioning that she and Seong-jun were childhood classmates, and that she was his first love. Later, Seong-jun sees Hye-jin and Shin-hyuk eating together, laughing and enjoying themselves. Meanwhile, Shin-hyuk, short on cash while buying ramen, gets help from Hari, who covers for him. They eat together and grow closer. Back at the office, Seong-jun overhears Han Seol bragging about making Hye-jin do her work over the weekend and planning to do it again. When he returns to his office, he notices a juice and sandwich left on his desk. Hye-jin had brought him lunch, worried he wouldn't eat. As expected, Han Seol forces Hye-jin to stay late and do her tasks. On his way out, Seong-jun sees her still working. She is also cleaning the floor after a coworker spilled coffee. Noticing her injured finger from the broken glass at his place, he tells her to take care of herself before handling other people's work. Since she doesn't know where to find a band-aid, he shows her and even helps her put it on. Rain pours as Hye-jin rides the bus home. The bus suddenly stops. In the middle of the road, Seong-jun collapses. A car accident nearby triggers his memory of his mother's accident. Frozen in place, he struggles to breathe. Hye-jin sees him and rushes to help. Meanwhile, Hari waits with Shin-hyuk for Seong-jun to arrive. She plans to tell him that Shin-hyuk is the man she will marry, and that she won't be able to meet him anymore. Hye-jin pulls Seong-jun off the street. He shivers and insists she leave, but she refuses. Worried, she arranges for a driver to take him home. Hari, still waiting for Seong-jun, calls and learns about the incident. She rushes over to check on him. At home, Hye-jin can't stop worrying. She wonders if he ate, took medicine, or is feeling better. Unable to shake her concern, she asks Shin-hyuk to check on him. Shin-hyuk stays with Seong-jun all night, making sure he takes medicine. When Seong-jun wakes up, he finds Shin-hyuk wearing his underwear and robe. On the way to work, Shin-hyuk takes full advantage of the situation, teasing Seong-jun about their night together. At the office, Seong-jun wants to mention the night before to Hye-jin, but hesitates. Before he can, she sneezes right in his face. The office avoids her, not wanting to catch her cold. Seeing her sick, Seong-jun quietly buys medicine. As he returns, he tries to give it to her unnoticed, but Shin-hyuk beats him to it. Walking toward her desk, Seong-jun watches as Shin-hyuk puts a mask on her and hands her the medicine first. Hari calls Seong-jun to check on him and invites him to lunch. When they meet, it starts raining. Seong-jun is puzzled by her reaction. He still believes she is Hye-jin, yet her behavior is completely different. The real Hye-jin hates rain because it ruins her hair, but Ha-ri enjoys it, saying it reminds her of her mother. She also calls the green light by its name, unlike Hye-jin, who always says it's go. At work, Hye-jin finds an onion on her desk, unsure what it means. Later, she enters Seong-jun's office to deliver mail. His phone rings, and she answers. While leaving him a message, she notices his computer screen, realizing he searched for cold remedies, onions included. Returning to his office later, Seong-jun sees the onion placed in a glass of water and smiles. That night, as he leaves, he finds Hye-jin sleeping at her desk. He gently supports her head to keep it from falling. Later, he spots her asleep at the bus stop and again inside the bus. Parking his car, he boards and sits beside her, letting her rest on his shoulder. Seong-jun starts feeling drawn to Hye-jin. The girl he believes is the real Hye-jin, Ha-ri, now feels unfamiliar. During a meeting, he finds himself unable to take his eyes off Hye-jin. That night, while meeting Ha-ri for dinner, something clicks. When she returns the missing puzzle piece, stolen from Hye-jin's room, he finally realizes she isn't the real Hye-jin. A sudden work trip comes up, and the fashion director, unable to go, sends Hye-jin with Seong-jun in her place. Seong-jun and Hye-jin leave for their business trip. The car ride is filled with awkward silence. Hye-jin keeps trying to start a conversation, but Seong-jun shuts her down, lost in his own thoughts. Before reaching their destination, Hye-jin insists they stop because she's hungry. At the rest stop, Seong-jun orders the most expensive beef, confident he can pay. Only then does he realize he left his wallet on his office desk. Hye-jin offers to cover the bill but doesn't have enough money. In the end, they are forced to clean cattle manure to pay off their meal. After finishing, they prepare to leave, but Hye-jin realizes her employee card is missing. She searches everywhere but can't find it. Seong-jun, despite his disgust, helps by rummaging through the cow dung until they recover it. Back on the road, Hye-jin explains why the card is so important to her. It gives her the motivation to keep going. Seong-jun understands because he also has something meaningless to others but valuable to him, his puzzle. Without a word, Seong-jun suddenly offers his hand. Confused, Hye-jin takes it. Then he clarifies he isn't asking her to hold his hand, he wants her to pay for the broken glass at his house. Spending time together, even while cleaning manure, brings them closer. The awkwardness fades, and they start joking with each other. Seong-jun and Hye-jin arrive at their destination. Unlike his usual strict demeanor at the office, he acts differently around her. He shares details about his childhood, his life after immigrating, and his mother's accident. He even considers her opinion on the concept he is developing. While taking pictures, he gets lost in her happiness. He smiles more than usual, watching her. What surprises Hye-jin most is that, for the first time, he calls her by her name. Joking around, they head to dinner, completely immersed in their conversation. Time flies, and they don't even notice the restaurant closing. Seong-jun grows curious about her interests and realizes their tastes are surprisingly similar. As they leave, he instinctively shields her from a passing biker. Embarrassed, they walk in silence until they stop to admire the starry sky. Spending the day together and seeing glimpses of the boy she once knew, Hye-jin feels ready to tell him the truth. Before she can, Shin-hyuk suddenly calls out her name. Realizing she and Seong-jun are alone, he joins them, clearly unhappy with the idea of Hye-jin being with another man. Although it's late, Shin-hyuk suggests getting drinks. Seong-jun initially refuses but changes his mind. He doesn't like the idea of Hye-jin spending time alone with someone else either. While drinking, Shin-hyuk jokes around with both Seong-jun and Hye-jin. Watching their playful interactions and how freely Shin-hyuk touches her, Seong-jun grows jealous. Pretending to swat a mosquito, he smacks Shin-hyuk. Frustrated, he doesn't even realize he is drinking alcohol, despite not being able to handle it. As expected, he faints again after just a little. Shin-hyuk ends up carrying him back to his room. Later, while looking through Seong-jun's photos, Shin-hyuk notices how many pictures he took of Hye-jin. Now, he's the one feeling jealous. Back at work, everyone is shocked by Seong-jun's sudden change. He greets his team, encourages them, and even smiles. He thanks Hye-jin for buying his lunch, something unthinkable before. Noticing the change, Hye-jin asks him to set aside time in the coming days. She plans to invite him to dinner and finally tell him the truth. That evening, she has dinner with Shin-hyuk. He disapproves of her decision to confess, fearing that once Seong-jun knows, they might develop feelings for each other. During their conversation, she learns that the little sister Shin-hyuk often talks about is actually his dog. Frustrated by his constant tricks, she gets angry. He finally confesses his feelings, but she assumes he's joking. Later, as he tries to cheer her up, he spots Ha-ri and Seong-jun kissing. To keep Hye-jin from seeing them, he quickly pulls her into a hug. Shin-hyuk keeps Hye-jin from seeing Ha-ri and Seong-jun kissing. He takes her home and asks what kind of friend Ha-ri is to her. Listening to Hye-jin talk about their lifelong friendship, He decides not to tell her what he saw. Meanwhile, Hari confesses her feelings to Seong-jun and asks to be his girlfriend. She dislikes hearing him talk about his past with Hye-jin. Hye-jin overhears Hari saying she has fallen for someone. Not knowing it's Seong-jun, she feels genuinely happy for her friend and supports her. Later that night, Seong-jun returns home and finds Shin-hyuk waiting for him. Shin-hyuk struggles with whether to reveal the truth about Hari and Hye-jin. Before leaving, he asks Seong-jun how much he really knows about his girlfriend. The next day, Hye-jin's shoe sole breaks. To keep her from injuring her foot, Shin-hyuk carries her on his back. As they walk, he asks about her feelings for Seong-jun. At the same time, Seong-jun heads to his date with Hari. He sees Shin-hyuk carrying Hye-jin and can't look away. Distracted, he ends up in a minor car accident. Arriving late, he hugs Hari and reassures her that he won't let anything distract him again. The next day at work, he is in a bad mood, acting like his old self. When Hye-jin brings him breakfast, he coldly gives it away to someone else. Seong-jun heads to work as usual, but suddenly hears a familiar phrase, something his childhood friend Kim Hye-jin used to say. He turns and sees his intern, Hye-jin. Shocked, he chases after her, but says nothing. Frustrated by work issues, his mood worsens. He becomes aggressive with anyone he thinks isn't doing their job perfectly. That same day, Hye-jin plans to meet Seong-jun and finally tell him the truth. Wanting to stop her, Shin-hyuk asks Hari to end the lie instead. At the photo shoot, Hye-jin is sent outside to move a car. Rain pours and her hair frizzes uncontrollably. Seong-jun overhears her complaining about it, triggering more memories of his childhood friend. Every moment with this intern reminds him of the past. Meanwhile, disaster strikes. The model's dress is ruined. Hye-jin was supposed to watch over it, but Han Seol sent her away. Furious, Seong-jun lashes out and tells her never to show up in front of him again. Fired on the spot, she leaves in tears. Later, the real culprit confesses everything to Seong-jun. Everyone in the editing department misses Hye-jin. During a meeting, Shin-hyuk suggests an idea that Seong-jun approves. Later, he enters Seong-jun's office and reveals the idea was Hye-jin's. If they plan to use it, they need to bring her back. He questions whether Seong-jun truly feels nothing for Hye-jin, then openly admits his own feelings for her. Wanting to cheer her up, Shin-hyuk takes Hye-jin for a walk. They spend the day together, taking photos and having fun. He jokes that if she's that grateful, she should date him. Meanwhile, Seong-jun looks through Hye-jin's notebook and decides to rehire her. He visits, apologizes, and asks her to return. She refuses, feeling too uncomfortable working with him. The next day, she reconsiders but hesitates to call. Before she can decide, she receives a text from Seong-jun, asking her again to come back. This time, she does, but not as the timid intern from before. Hye-jin returns confident, beautiful, and well-dressed. Hye-jin decides to return to work but wants a fresh start. She visits a salon to fix her hair, buys new clothes, and applies makeup. When she arrives at the office, everyone is shocked by her transformation. She is still the hardworking Hye-jin, but now she is confident and beautiful. The entire team loves the change except Shin-hyuk. He prefers her old look and complains that she no longer has her freckles, saying the original Hye-jin was prettier. During a meeting about Most Magazine's 20th anniversary, Hye-jin presents the best idea, earning praise from everyone. Later, in Seong-jun's office, he returns her notebook and gives her a welcome-back present, her employee card. That night, Seong-jun is supposed to meet Hari, but she keeps avoiding him. Fear keeps her from confessing that she isn't his first love. Stress and guilt weigh heavily on her. She hasn't been eating or sleeping properly. On her way home, she faints. Shin-hyuk sees her collapse and takes her to the hospital. When she wakes up, she breaks down in tears and admits that Seong-jun is her first love. That's why she couldn't tell him the truth. Another day passes at the office. Shin-hyuk notices the gift Seong-jun gave Hye-jin and gets jealous. Determined not to be outdone, he prepares his own welcome present in his usual over-the-top way. The Most 20th anniversary event begins with the team greeting guests and preparing for Seong-jun's opening speech, but he is nowhere to be found and isn't answering his phone. Outside, the rain falls, triggering his childhood trauma. With no other option, Ra steps in to deliver the speech. Seong-jun arrives halfway through, still shaken. He sits on a bench, lost in thought. Hye-jin, understanding what happened, sits beside him silently. The next day, the team criticizes Seong-jun for being late and causing trouble. Hye-jin, knowing the truth, steps in to defend him. She starts to explain but stops when he signals her to stay quiet. He appreciates her support but doesn't want anyone knowing about his past. Hye-jin gets the opportunity to write an article but rejects it, afraid she won't do well. Shin-hyuk encourages her to try, reminding her that no one is perfect from the start, but she refuses. That night, she and Seong-jun meet at the bus stop. He waits with her until her bus arrives and tells her about Charis, the Greek god of opportunity. Charis has only one lock of hair, symbolizing that a chance must be seized at the right moment before it disappears forever. Through this story, Seong-jun encourages Hye-jin to take the opportunity in front of her. Motivated, she decides to write the article and works hard on it. For her first interview, she travels to another town. The fashion director lends her a car, but she accidentally takes the wrong keys and ends up with a faulty vehicle. Realizing her mistake, her co-workers grow worried when she doesn't answer her phone. Seong-jun sees news of a car accident involving a woman in Paju and immediately suspects it's Hye-jin. Worried, he rushes there, thinking about all the times she was by his side when he needed her. At the accident scene, he spots her and runs to her, pulling her into a hug. While driving, Hye-jin's car starts smoking. She stops and looks for help. Nearby, Seong-jun argues with police officers. The moment he sees her, he rushes over and hugs her tightly. Relieved, he finally breathes. She is safe. Hye-jin, more concerned about him, questions how he managed to drive through heavy rain. He admits he didn't even realize it was raining. He places a blanket over her and drives her home. The tension lingers from the earlier hug. She tries to break the silence by turning on the radio, but every song is about hugging. She quickly turns it off. Determined to tell him the truth, she takes a taxi to his hotel. But when she arrives, she sees him with Hari. Hari has also come to confess. She hands him a letter explaining everything, but Seong-jun, overwhelmed, asks her to leave. Hye-jin watches them together and pieces it all together. She realizes that Seong-jun's girlfriend, the one her co-workers mentioned, is Hari. She now understands Hari's curiosity about the business trip and why Hari never introduced her own boyfriend. Shin-hyuk learns that Hye-jin left with a broken car and isn't answering her phone. Worried, he rushes after her but gets into an accident. At the scene, he sees Seong-jun hugging Hye-jin. After getting checked at the hospital, he calls Hye-jin. Later, they meet, and she admits she saw Hari and Seong-jun together. She finally acknowledges her feelings, convinced Seong-jun feels the same. The next day, she crosses paths with Seong-jun on the way to work. Uncertain how to face him, she avoids eye contact and keeps her distance. He wants to talk about the previous night, but before he can, she spots Shin-hyuk and runs to him, leaving Seong-jun behind. Avoiding him on the street is easy, but the office is another challenge. She waits until the last moment to enter the meeting, ensuring everyone else is already inside. Even after the meeting, she delays delivering the minutes, but eventually she has no choice. She leaves the documents on his desk and tries to leave, but Seong-jun stops her. He insists on discussing their hug, but she refuses. Every time he starts, she quickly makes up an excuse about needing to see Shin-hyuk. During lunch, Hye-jin learns that Shin-hyuk went to the hospital for a checkup. Worried, she searches for him, but he refuses to say where he got hurt. While eating, he pretends he can't feed himself, making her do it for him. When she hears he fell off his motorcycle, she demands his keys. He refuses, reminding her they aren't dating. Meanwhile, Seong-jun meets Hye-rin for lunch. Later, Seong-jun forgets an important suit at the office. He needs it for a morning meeting, so Ra-ra sends Hye-jin to deliver it. This time, she can't avoid him and has to listen to everything he has to say. Seong-jun admits he doesn't help just anyone. He went after her because it was her. At first, he disliked her because she reminded him of someone from his past. Without realizing it, he began liking having her around. Hearing his confession, Hye-jin is speechless. Flustered, she tries to drink tea but spills it on herself. Seong-jun hands her dry clothes and offers to drive her home. Instead, she leaves without a word while he looks for his car keys. Moments later, Shin-hyuk arrives, having heard she went to Seong-jun's house. He came to rescue her, but was too late. Seong-jun, annoyed by how often Shin-hyuk appears around Hye-jin, grows jealous. Unlike Shin-hyuk, he refuses to hide his feelings behind jokes. After an interview with a children's book author, Hye-jin visits a Renoir exhibition and unexpectedly runs into Seong-jun. When a group of kindergartners teases him, she steps in to defend him. They take pictures together before parting ways. Later, Seong-jun meets Hari, planning to tell her he has fallen for someone else. Hari also plans to confess the truth. At the hotel where she works, he overhears someone calling her name and realizes she isn't who she claimed to be. Meanwhile, Hye-jin learns that Shin-hyuk got injured while rushing to find her during the accident scare. Since she now knows, he stops hiding it. He hugs her and confesses his feelings, making it clear he can never see her as just a friend. During his meeting at the hotel, Seong-jun notices a poster featuring Hari as the hotelier of the month. Seeing her real name, he realizes she is Hye-jin's friend. The truth hits him. Kim Hye-jin was closer than he ever imagined. He calls Hye-jin and they meet. He expresses regret for not recognizing her sooner. They walk together as Hye-jin explains why she hid and how she felt that night when he didn't recognize her. For Seong-jun, her appearance and job situation never mattered. Hye-jin assumes he learned the truth from Hari, but when she hears that Hari never explained anything, she rushes home. By the time she arrives, Hari has already left. In her room, Hye-jin finds the letter Hari wrote for Seong-jun and realizes her friend has feelings for him. The next day, Hye-jin and Seong-jun meet at the crosswalk near work. He tries to hold her hand, but she pulls away. He invites her to dinner, but she declines. Her sudden coldness confuses him. Determined to understand, he takes her to the rooftop to talk. She refuses to explain, unable to tell him she is pushing him away because Ha-ri loves him. On her way to the office, Hye-jin notices Shin-hyuk acting strangely. Usually cheerful and playful, he now seems distant and cold. He doesn't joke or find anything amusing, avoiding her completely. Meanwhile, Seong-jun refuses to see Hye-jin as just a friend or an old classmate. Wanting to talk, he calls her. Instead, Hye-rin picks up and invites him over. Since Hye-jin is staying with her family, Seong-jun ends up drinking with her father and passes out at the table. Unable to sleep, Hye-jin watches him. When he wakes up, they step outside to talk. At first, Seong-jun assumes she rejected him because of Shin-hyuk, but as they talk, he realizes there must be another reason. He once thought he liked her only because she was his childhood friend. Now he understands his feelings go beyond the past. Even when he believed she was a stranger, even when she was the clumsy, awkward intern, she made his heart race. Hye-jin finally tells Seong-jun the truth. She can't accept his feelings because Ha-ri likes him. Ha-ri is too important to her, and she doesn't want to hurt her. Seong-jun refuses to accept this. His feelings are for Hye-jin, not Ha-ri, and he asks her not to run away. Meanwhile, rumors spread that Shin-hyuk plans to leave Most. The magazine also fails to reach the required ranking to avoid closure. Worried, Seong-jun confronts Shin-hyuk, asking him to reconsider his decision. The next day, Shin-hyuk doesn't show up for work. As Hye-jin tries to contact him, she learns that Ha-ri has resigned and isn't answering her phone. Concerned, she rushes home, only to find Ha-ri's belongings gone. The neighbor mentions she left for a trip. Panicked, Hye-jin runs to the airport, desperate to stop her. Believing Ha-ri left with her mother without saying goodbye, Hye-jin rushes to the airport but arrives too late. Just as she loses hope, Ha-ri appears beside her. She never left. She only went to see her mother off. Realizing her mistake in trying to come between Seong-jun and Hye-jin, Ha-ri decides to start fresh. She chooses to live independently, cutting ties with her father's financial support. She gives up the credit cards, the clothes he bought her, and the job he secured for her. While they talk, Hye-jin receives a message from Seong-jun. Overwhelmed by work, he wants to see her, even if just for a moment. With only a month left to save Most, the pressure is crushing him. Seeing her gives him the energy to keep going. After meeting Hye-jin, Seong-jun returns home and finds Shin-hyuk waiting. He has decided to stay at Most and help Seong-jun. During his time away, he gathered new ideas and presents them. As expected, he immediately returns to his playful self, finding ways to annoy Seong-jun. The next day, Shin-hyuk arrives at the office. The team, especially Hye-jin, is thrilled. Excitement fills the room as they celebrate his return. Seong-jun shifts focus to the magazine's interviews. The team watches in surprise as he and Shin-hyuk seamlessly complete each other's sentences, working in perfect sync. During the meeting, Seong-jun gets a nosebleed. Exhausted and pale, he refuses to slow down. Hye-jin, too worried to focus on work, brings him the meeting minutes along with a healthy tea instead of coffee. The fashion director is too busy to review Hye-jin's article, so Shin-hyuk steps in. He offers advice on writing, impressing her with his professionalism. Seeing her admiration, he takes the opportunity to tease her again. Later, Hye-jin returns to the office and finds Seong-jun asleep at his desk. To let him rest, she sends everyone to lunch at her expense, silencing the noise. She places a blanket over him and quietly resumes work. Shin-hyuk notices and takes her out for coffee. Once again, he playfully teases her about liking him, enjoying her flustered reactions. Meanwhile, Ha-ri assures Hye-jin that she is fine and urges her to stop pushing Seong-jun away. The next day, Hye-jin searches for him to share her decision, but keeps missing him. Returning from a meeting in Jeju Island, Seong-jun finally reaches his limit. The exhaustion catches up, and he collapses at the airport. When Hye-jin hears he was hospitalized, she rushes to see him. After collapsing from exhaustion, Seong-jun is hospitalized. The moment Hye-jin hears about it, she rushes to see him. She finally decides to accept his feelings without worrying about Ha-ri. While they kiss and embrace, Ra-ra suddenly arrives. Hye-jin hides in the closet as Ra-ra's loud voice fills the room. It almost seems like she saw them and is just playing along for fun. Back at work, Seong-jun is completely different. Instead of being strict and impatient, he greets everyone warmly, encourages them, and even whistles. The team immediately suspects he's dating. Worried he's being too obvious, Hye-jin asks him to tone it down, unaware that she is even more obvious than he is. That evening, Seong-jun drives Hye-jin to her parents' wedding anniversary dinner. Holding hands as they arrive, Hye-rin spots them and excitedly tells their parents. Now officially a couple, Seong-jun is invited to dinner and even joins the traditional family photo. On his way out, he meets Ha-ri. She has been avoiding him, unable to find the courage to apologize. Their brief conversation gives her the closure she needs. Later that night, Seong-jun calls Hye-jin. While talking, she sees something on TV she suddenly craves, and unknowingly says it out loud. Seong-jun, still on the phone, buys it for her. They spend the night in his car, eating and talking. He shows her childhood photos and they eventually fall asleep. The morning sun wakes them up. The editing department learns that if their magazine doesn't top sales that month, headquarters will shut it down. Feeling betrayed that Seong-jun kept this from them, they walk out. Only Hye-jin and Shin-hyuk stay to work alongside him. Exhausted and unsure of what to do next, Seong-jun feels lost. Hye-jin remains by his side, refusing to leave him alone. Her unwavering support gives him the strength to move forward. Realizing his mistake, he apologizes to the team. The next day, when Hye-jin and Shin-hyuk arrive at work, they find everyone back, working harder than ever. On the weekend, Seong-jun comes to the office and finds food on his desk with a note from Hye-jin. She guessed he would come in and made sure he had something warm to eat. Since the food is still fresh, he rushes to find her. They spend the day on a picnic where Seong-jun finally shares his plan. He intends to propose. Seong-jun works through the weekend. In his office, he finds the lunch Hye-jin left and hurries to join her. After eating, he returns to find a message. Their scheduled interview is cancelled. The team panics. They had already announced the interview with Leonard Kim, but now have no replacement. Someone suggests interviewing Ten, the anonymous writer. For days, they struggle to contact Ten. Seeing Seong-jun's stress, Hye-jin takes him to play basketball. Later, she trims his nails, offering quiet support to keep him going. With no response from Ten, the team shifts focus and finalizes other articles. Once the issue goes to print, Seong-jun arranges a team dinner, wanting to give them a last good memory before most shuts down. The next morning, Shin-hyuk urgently calls Hye-jin outside. He drags her into his car, calling it a special day but refusing to explain. He only claims he's bored and wants to have fun. They spend the day enjoying expensive food, riding amusement park attractions, and playing around. Shin-hyuk is unusually energetic, more excited than ever. That night, Shin-hyuk drives Hye-jin home acting strangely. He says something serious, then brushes it off as a joke. His words feel like a goodbye, as if they won't see each other again. Later, Seong-jun arrives at work and receives a call from printing. The magazine has been cancelled. Checking his emails, he finds a message from Ten. He rushes to meet the mysterious writer and is shocked to discover that Ten is none other than Kim Shin-hyuk. Meanwhile, at the office, the team gathers for the inauguration of the new vice president. Everyone is stunned to see their scruffy-looking coworker, Kim Pung-ho, step into the role. Seong-jun meets Ten and is stunned to discover he is actually Kim Shin-hyuk. Once the shock fades, he asks why Shin-hyuk chose to reveal his identity. Shin-hyuk avoids answering but insists Seong-jun publish his story. He records everything needed for the article and takes photos for the feature. Later at home, Seong-jun listens to the recording but decides not to publish it. The magazine is released, and the team anxiously awaits the results. When they check the cover, they are shocked. An exclusive interview with Ten is included. While the team reels from the revelation that Shin-hyuk is Ten, Seong-jun rushes to find him, but it's too late. Shin-hyuk has already sent the interview to print, checked out of his hotel, and disappeared. Before leaving, he leaves a farewell message for the team, except for Hye-jin. She was special to him. Now she understands why their amusement park day meant so much. Seong-jun also hands her the recorded interview, realizing it was Shin-hyuk's personal goodbye to her. Hye-jin leaves the editing department and returns to management, where she originally belonged. After her farewell party, Seong-jun shares his plans to return to America now that most is secure. He asks her to go with him. She immediately agrees, wanting them to stay together. Back in management, she finds herself with too much free time. That evening, she unexpectedly meets Shin-hyuk, who wanted to see her one last time and say a proper goodbye. Later, she is invited to a gathering of children's book writers. Inspired by the meeting, she excitedly shares everything with Seong-jun. Writing children's books has always been her dream. Seeing Hari happy after discovering her passion for hotel management makes Hye-jin reflect on her own happiness. Looking in the mirror, she realizes something is missing. That night, Seong-jun invites her to dinner, planning to propose. He buys rings, ready to ask her to marry him. However, the moment she arrives, she unintentionally ruins his proposal by proposing first, but with a condition. She asks him to wait 1 year before they marry. Before he can react, she takes out her own rings and places one on his finger. Inside, she explains her decision. Before marrying, she wants to pursue her dream and write a children's book with the writers she met. Seong-jun understands and respects her honesty, though he feels slightly disappointed that she proposed first. They complete a puzzle together, and then Seong-jun takes out the ring he had prepared. He asks her to marry him in a year, officially sealing their promise. When the day of their separation arrives, he takes her to where she will be staying. Before leaving, he tells her he loves her. Hye-jin quits her job to pursue her dream of writing children's books. She spends her days working with other writers and her nights talking to Seong-jun on video calls. They stay in touch daily, and Hari visits whenever she can. After a few months, Seong-jun suddenly becomes unreachable. His phone is off, and he doesn't answer her calls. Worried, she keeps trying, and after 2 days, he finally picks up. But instead of answering through the screen, he appears right in front of her. Seong-joon has left his job in America and returned to Most as editor-in-chief. While visiting her family, Hye-jin is shocked to learn that Seong-joon is temporarily living with them until he finds a house. Just after the children's story Hye-jin worked on gets published, Seong-joon and Hye-jin set their wedding date. Excitement fills the office when Seong-joon hands out invitations. His co-workers react with shock. The bride is none other than their Jackson. The day before the wedding, Ha-ri takes Hye-jin out. She wants to spend one last day together in a beautiful place before Hye-jin begins her new life. Hye-jin and Seong-joon get married. Happiness surrounds them. Hye-jin now writes books from home. Ten releases a new book titled Ten. He dedicates it to his best friend, Jackson. Ha-ri completes her course. With her own abilities, she secures a job at a hotel. Later, Hye-jin and Seong-joon welcome a daughter. Unfortunately for her, she inherits the exact features of Hye-jin.